to be able to jump on this mastermind call. We've hosted this call for so many years now. I have to remember, our last call, we celebrated 11 years in hosting this call. Saturday morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, just being in a great position to collect and connect with folks from across the country who have made a commitment to personal development, to taking their life from where it is to where they want to be, and trying to do that with the spirit of purpose, with trying to live this life that we're in on a day-to-day basis, purpose driven. And that in and of itself, there are challenging times. I still try to remember that challenge is part of the growth process, and to not allow issues and frustrations and very difficult situations to get in the way of a life that is being lived on purpose and for purpose. And that is really the core and the crux of this call that we've been hosting for. Identify people who are ready to take one step past comfortability, one step past comfortability, with the objective that knowing that I really want to embrace what God has it for me to do in this life. And that is the 155% objective of this call. And so many great things have happened because of that intentionality, and being able to spend time and meet people who have just, abundant goals, goals that they've set, and for various reasons. It's always good to try to ask questions, maybe 2 or 3 questions, to dig a little bit deeper into somebody else's why. I always find myself being talking to somebody and they start explaining their why, because you can see the excitement, you can see the reasons why they is what fuels us. The drama, the reason want to be great parents, great fathers, great mothers, sons and daughters, great coworkers, great business owners. The reasons why we want to be great is where the fuel is. And so for this call, over the past 11 years, we have intentionally tried to go there. Going right to where it is the things that matter to you, and then build from there. And it's cool to be able to do it, maybe with 1 or 2 people, and you have a nice little network. But when you can just point to a host of folks who have made consistently, year after year after year, have just said, you know what, I'm in, count this. And matter of fact, check this out. Look at what I'm working on. Can you be in prayer with me? Check this out. Can you sit in on a call? Can you join me for a meeting? Can you be with me when I share this with, this important thing? That for me, I think when I'm, looking at my day to day and I look back, you always want to feel like you're living with intentionality, that you're living on purpose, that if somebody came and threw a rock and hit you in the head and that was the last, fires me up, what keeps me excited, because not only am I always going to God about things that I'm working on for myself and my family, it is extremely excited to be able to participate with each of you, folks who are on the call now, folks who will join later, who have reached out, who have said, listen, this is what we got going on, and I'm not sure, I want to go to this direction, but I'm not sure exactly how to. That's the exciting part for me. As soon as I hear somebody say that, that lets me know that they're not just saying, you know what, I'll accept whatever comes, whatever life has, this is what it is, kind of thing. But they have some type of a spirit of growth, a spirit of progress, a spirit of how do I grow in this life? And that for me is exactly what the purpose of this network is all about. So thank you for joining in this morning. And we look hearing from everybody on the call today. Well, if you're on the call for the first time, I want to say welcome to you. You would have missed our last 3 sessions where we were going through our 90-day goal setting challenge over the past summer, and something that we've done every year for the past, I'd say 10 years we've done that. And as we begin to move into this fall season, and you can begin to see the new year coming, or the end of this year coming, you know, it's one of those things where you're always trying to look at, did I accomplish the goals I started out this year with? And that's a big part of what the goal setting challenge is about. But I would tell you that as we're focused on growth and development, you know, one of the things that stands out in my mind is, you know, when we look at our belief system and what's steering us and what's pushing us to go to the next level, it's one thing to have I guess a motivating factor, a certain belief system on why we're doing things the way we do it. It's also a thing to be able to say, this is my purpose, and this is why my purpose is this. This is why I've committed my life to this. But the one part I would put down that is the big barrier from allowing people to go forward, it is the being able to do what it is that you believe that you want in this life, to actually go out and do it. What I sent the note out this morning or yesterday and said, welcome to the grind. And what does the grind mean for each of us? And I think that in and of itself, as we're looking at goal setting, strategies, planning, getting excited, you know, making it big, making the dream big, like all of that stuff is so necessary and important. But there is a thing called the work. And we have this conversation a lot with, especially in, with folks who are believers and believe in faith. And we talk about faith, and faith is exactly what we just said. You know, you believe that there's something else more for you, and you want to pursue it, and you pray and you ask God to give you the clarity to go after it. But once you've done that, once you've prayed, once you've believed, once you've set the picture, once it's clear, it's time to get to work. And I want to have this conversation with you guys today about the work, and what does the work relative to your goals look practical. You know, as much as I love to build the dream, how do we get practical in actually doing the work and doing it well enough where it's really sending you toward the direction of success? That when we talk to our kids and they are in school and so what are your goals? What are you here to accomplish? You know, is the goal for you to get straight A's this year? And if they say yes, okay, great. Now we're on alignment. The goals are for you to get straight A's. Let's look at your coursework. How do you feel about these classes? I'm not so sure. Okay, great. Now we know where maybe you need some extra tutoring, or being able to implement the plan, implement the strategies. What happens working on an assignment that you may not be as strong on. It's just as simple as being able to map out what the next steps are. And I want us to begin to really think about, I know a lot of times when we think about our goals, that sometimes they're really big, but when you're really getting ready to put the work in, we have to get specific. We have to identify what the next step is. And, this week I had, this was a very, for this particular conversation we're having, this week was one of those weeks where I had examples of that. In one vein, I had a meeting, has been so tactical for the past, say, 3 years, that everything they were doing was about the practice. They built the dream, let's say 5 years ago, and they spent the past 3 years just actively reduce costs, staffing the right people, getting all the things in place, just doing the work, boom, 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 boom. And I had, it was unbelievable. I sat down with, and he looked at me with a look that I'd never seen before in his eyes. And he's like, "I'm tired, bro." Like, I've done it. I've done the work. I've done all the things that we've talked about. I've put it to place. It's time to say woosah. And that was I looked in his eyes, I could tell it was a very cathartic moment for him. But to be honest with you, it was actually cathartic for me to see him say that. And it was interesting because after that conversation, before we finish up the meeting, I did ask him the question. I know you guys on this call understand my reasons for asking this question, but I said, "Well, wow, this is great. Let's look at what has been accomplished. But now that you are here, and now that you are ready for kind of a woosah moment, and roughly let's take the rest of the year for a woosah moment. Forward could really very well be purpose driven for the rest of your life. And then one step back to me, he said, "You know what? That's exactly what I would what I hope to do. But you made me think about all the work I've been doing over the past 3 years and how much of it was purpose driven." And and it was a very unique space because I can confidently say to him, and I share this, that the work that he's done over the past 3 years was enough to make him financially independent, and he wouldn't have to go to work again for the rest of his life. So that in of itself, for so many people, that is the objective: 100% passive income. For the rest of your life. It's one thing to say 100% passive income for the next 5 or 10 years, but if you're looking at if God blesses you to live 100 years, in his situation, he wouldn't have to lift another finger. But was that the objective? Was that the purpose? Was that the move? And it was clear that there was more in there for him. And it's an exciting point to be in, to know that I've worked hard, I set a big goal, I worked hard to pursue it. And there is a tangible reality from doing that work. And now, and if God blesses me with longevity like his parents, how do I spend the rest of that time? And it was, I tell you, I don't know like that with a client where I walked away saying, okay, you got a long horizon ahead of you. A lot of times you're having these conversations with folks who have lived their lives, and they are legitimately at retirement years. And they're saying, "Hey, I'm good, man. This money will last me for the next 10 or 15 years, and it'll be time anyway. But when you have a long road runway, and you've made a decision to really work hard on setting goals, it's a beautiful thing when you can do it at a young age, right? So I wanted to give that story because it's important for us to personalize when we start thinking about the things that we work hard for every day. And we have to then ask ourselves, at what point is this thing that has me really fired up today, and whether it be good or bad, that has me filled with energy, or that has me wiped all of my energy out, is it relative? And if it is, thank God. If it's not, or if you're unsure, then that is a great place to start, because I'm busy in the rat race. But if you had a conversation about purpose, they would say, listen, I don't even have time for that right now. I am so over my head with all this stuff. And the first thing I always say, well, how's that working out for you? How is being busy working out for you? How do you feel about everything that's happening right now? You're busy, it's clear. I mean, you can barely finish this conversation. But how is that working out for your goals? How is that working out for your bottom line? How is that working out for the people that you care about? How is that working out for the things that you truly? And a lot of times that will stop folks in their tracks and say, you know what? It ain't working, right? So I want to make sure that for this call and the time that we have left, that we take a second and talk about the work. Take a second and talk about the grind. And how do you feel about where you are right now relative to the work that you're doing every day? Do you feel like it's headed in a direction of success, or do you feel like you are a hamster on a spinning wheel? That is where I want to stop right now and have that conversation with you. And some of you may have some success stories about your work that may be helpful for someone else. Others may say, I'm glad you asked that question, because I am really busy and I was barely able to make this call, but here's what I'm doing. And I may need a quick, I may need you to talk me through this to see if I am on the right track. We want to do that. So let's take a second, open up the call to any work that you're doing right now. And or do you unfortunately feel like that bunny or that hamster on the hamster wheel, running fast but not going anywhere? Let's take a second and open up the call now. And for those of us on social media, feel free to send those messages online as well in the comment section. How do you feel about the race? How do you feel about the work? Are you headed in the right direction, or you have no clue? Let's open up the call now.
Such a tough question. I was waiting to see some pulse and get a little juice out of this thing before I hopped on. That's all. I'm here.
I heard you come off mute, so I said, okay, you ready to jump in?
I mean, I'm ready, but I just wanted to see, unmuted, but I said, maybe I'll meet somebody else before I just, I go on this tangent and enjoy this Saturday as I'm up early in the morning on my questionable grind.
The questionable grind. Hey, well, you got the long call today, so you got the mic. So let's go.
Okay. I got two things. Oh man, I'm on the move and I didn't write it down. You said something earlier that was so good. It'll come back to me. Anyway. There's another direction. You were very binary, right? You're like, yeah, my stuff is working, or I'm on or maybe on a hamster wheel kind of deal, right?
Yeah.
There's another option that I've felt, and because I've done it before, you might be shell shocked or like a little I don't know, PTSD or whatever behind it. Are headed in a direction quickly, and you can see that person is like, oh yeah, I'm on this thing. I'm a leader. I'm a visionary. I see it. I can see where I'm going. But so you're not spinning the wheel, but you're headed in the wrong direction. Fast, aggressively. So you're applying your talents, your skills. You're applying, your drive. Having done that and having had to, pull the brake on that thing. And are you getting ready to get on the train, right? You going down there? You taking the train back?
Yes, sir.
So you ever see those old movies where a lot of times you can be like in the where they got to stop a train and they pull that big lever and it's like
yeah.
Everything has to stop and all that. And creating that friction or making the decision to do that is and it's your own, it's in your effort and the time that you put into something. It could be anything from to a relationship. And you have to stop it and pull it, and and then you have to come to a complete stop because you're talking about science. You come to a complete stop, and then either reverse it, and that's the slow process going to reverse, or make it pivot and make that hard right or that hard left. And knowing that you might be in that mode is frightening.
Yeah.
The wrong direction, but I've already gone in the wrong direction once before, and I'm gonna go ahead and bite the bullet on that. But you know where you're headed, and then living in that process of knowing where you're headed and still going forward is your own little personal, mental torture chamber, if you will.
No, that's real, man. That's a real way to say it.
And depending on how major the effort is, that's real, but if you're in the wrong direction, you have to stop. So that is a thing that I spend, and I would say that now I'm talking through this, might be one of the things that a procrastination kind of energy, or where you say, you're like, all right, I've done this before. I definitely need to work and make sure. Let's look at this before we go in this direction, because you've been down this direction before. Based on my own timeline. Now, somebody else's timeline, they may say, oh, no, we've done a month and a half. So I'm like, I knew about it, I could have done it in a day. But so based on my own timeline, my potential, my ability to do something, it takes longer because of that past trauma, right? Of grinding hard. So That was number 3. So right now, no, that was the second thing. So the third thing is what's going on right now with the grind, and am I heading in the right direction? And here is steps we lay out to kind of make sure that this is at least in line with some kind of with what I'm at the beginning. So, example, we came up with a idea, a plan. I thought about it. I wrote it down. I thought it fit. It was in line with my goals at the time, and I was intentional and thoughtful about moving forward on. Bang. Once let's go. We're in here. Now I'm willing to do anything necessary to get this thing done. All things involved, let's do it. I'm with it. Let's go. So that's the mode I'm in. And then the grind begins from there. And some of the things that the grind consists of are the things. Like you were talking about your client, and I was just like, I could have come with this plan and all that, but for all the things. I only have a guy say that I'm tired, man. I'm tired. When you really, really, really have done enough, it's gratifying. I will tire you out, right? But it is gratifying because you've made it and you've grown a lot and you've become stronger through the grind. And that's the last part of the grind that I love. The reason why I kind of embrace it because I know that when you grind hard, you're becoming something.
Yeah.
You're getting stronger. Tenfold times better when you're grinding for your purpose because you're getting better and you're getting better in doing something that with your own purpose, which is like I said 10 times, but it's I don't know, it's God time multiplied, whatever God is, multiplied God. 100% infinity, whatever that is.
Yeah.
That's what it is when you're grinding for your purpose. And when you're done with that, you've moved on, or you're you're never done, but when you take that pause to look up, you're taking a breath of air, not a breath of air, you're taking a stop to breathe or whatever, or put your head above water and see what's going on. It's so far away, and you've had so many things that you've accomplished, and you feel so good about it. Even though maybe the 2 seconds before you took that breath of air, you were almost like you were at the brink. You know what I'm saying? You're at the brink. So I can imagine that meeting. So there you go. That's the thing. Now the grind that's happening currently is the event center slash soundstage startup creation partnership that is happening. That is a grind that I am built for, in the sense that I'm a grinder, so it's not tough. The toughest part about this particular grind, and because it does fit, it is something that I decided to do, and it checked the boxes, and I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get involved. The toughest thing about it, as far as the grind, and then when you're talking about leadership, leading yourself and leading other people, is laying out, doing the work, first of all, to be an example, and then second of all, sometimes the time it takes for, partners, employees, stakeholders to line up And that is one of the more taxing of any business endeavor that involves people. Maneuver those parts. Even one guy, like I'm not making every single decision, but need to be made. And navigating and advising properly is an art, and it is a grind. And that is the challenging part, the mentally taxing piece of that leadership part and that advisory part. It's a thing. It's a thing. Hundreds and hundreds of dollars of chicken wings and all kinds of things, right, for events that's gonna happen.
Operations.
Sunday, so and that is operations, which is my wheelhouse, but not my wheelhouse. But it doesn't make a difference because it has to get done, and I don't have a problem with doing it because it has to get done. So, but knowing that and knowing and being that example and hoping that, all members of the team have that same vigor, that same rigor, which I know they do at times, but can we all maintain it in the corner and become, what the original vision? The last piece, your ability to grind and the length of time that you can grind. Like your client, he grinded long enough. 3 years is long enough for him to turn whatever he was turning into a lifelong, cash cow. Yeah. And that's great. Some people might be 5 years. But if he stopped at 2 years and 8 months, you know what I'm saying? Maybe not.
Well, I think you hit it, man. I think that's the thing that I come back to, especially when we're talking about the grind. The thing that I come back when we're talking about the grind is, number one, what's my belief system? Number one, like, what is fueling me? Just kind of starting there first. Because if I'm a doubter first, if I'm leery, if I'm like one of those kind of people first, the whole process of planning and strategizing and about the goal. So I have to, number one, check my belief system. Am I doubting more than I'm believing? And if I am, why? Like, and really getting to the point of that. And that's number one. For me is, what is my purpose and why? In anything that is worth pursuing, it's gonna be difficult. Ask yourself, why did I sign up for this? Because it's just gonna get difficult. So if your purpose isn't big enough, then it's a wrap. Like, it's just, you're gonna quit. You're gonna quit. If your purpose isn't big enough, you will quit. We just have to kind of know that's the deal. So, and as it's in any example, it's interesting. Like, I talked about another moving fast in the wrong direction, and it, right? And so, got another example. Someone who's in leadership, of in the eyes of other people, doing great things. Things are rolling in the, going in the right direction. It's already moving extremely fast. And so to be in that situation when you want to get off, you're going in a direction and you want to get off that train, and that part is, well, how do I do this? And, my whole, the thing that, I don't even know at what point it was, I was in, while I was in that conversation, I thought about myself in 2017, 2018, when it was clear inside of me that it was decision-making time. It was decision-making time. The company I was working for at the time was ready to promote me, but promotion for that company meant I was going to have to move. And I was looking around at the options, and I was thinking about the job, thinking about my purpose, what I felt my purpose was, and my why, and all those things. And knowing that if I just would have just applied the grind to that job and just continued to promote, I mean, it would have worked out. It would have been a good deal. If I provide for my family, the whole nine. Have the rub, if you will. I would say the risk when that, because as men, we want to make sure that whatever we're doing, we can still provide for our families. So that's the rub a lot of times when and depending on your risk tolerance will determine which route you'll take. If you're talking to somebody who's a bit more risk averse, they're like, hey man, I know I really want to do some other things, but it seems like a pretty big guaranteed deal right here. And all I got to do is just show up to work and, do this, what I'm doing right here every day. I think that's my route. And there are a host of fathers and husbands who've taken that and said, it worked out 30 years later, they gave me a pension check and we're good. And listen, and that is a blessing to a host of families. I chose a different route. I chose, and I remember talking to the head of, like, this guy was like close to the CEO, and he was like, man, are you sure you want to do this? Like, why are you doing this? And I remember saying to him, I was like, you know what? I wanted to take a risk on me. I was like, I don't want to be 65 looking back and asking myself, could I have done it? Like, could I have built something? Could I have actually built something on my own? And even if I would have ended up financially independent, could I have built something on my own? Because from a purpose perspective, that's where I was going. My conversations with everybody was at that point in time in my life, and it's even more now, was, ownership, entrepreneurship, build your own business, all of that. And so it was tied up with my purpose to move in that direction. And so when I look back, what was that, 5-6 years now, the grind is still here. Thank God for, even today, the day-to-day things that are going on, I would not have had that same type of experience if I would have taken the other road. And I will say, from a purpose perspective, I'm smiling. I'm happy from a purpose perspective. And I feel like as long as that's the deal, for me, as long as I'm happy, that I'm willing to continue with the grind. Some people are wired differently. Others will say, you know what? I'm about to grind this thing out, and I'm going to grind it hard until I get to a certain point, and then I'm going to pursue purpose. And no, none of these answers are wrong. I would say the only wrong answer is the one who's doing any of these things that we're talking about, and purpose is not involved. It's not in the cards at all. you know, and so it's like, what for kind of thing. Like, I'm just here to, you know, wake up, work, grow old, and die. Like, if that's what you, we have to find ways. Don't be afraid of the grind while you are constantly working on doing the things. And when we talk about purpose, what does that mean? You know, spending doing the things that are pleasing to your heart. That things that are pleasing to your heart. That when you do it, and when you do it, even the rarest experiences of doing it, that you know it's adding value to who you are as a person. It's adding value. When you have, when I talk to you guys about these conversations I'm having with clients, those conversations are adding value to my heart, to my spirit, to my whole being, because it's in line with my purpose. And I'm like, and grind in it all day versus, you know, we'll pay you well, we'll, you know, do all the great things, we'll make sure you have the best benefit, but I need you to do this, and I need you to do it within this box. This is what I need you to do. I did that. My purpose was calling, right? And so I wanted to have, you know, kind of spark that conversation with you guys today, because the grind, the work that it requires to be successful, spending value to your energies, to your purpose, to your heart. It's not about stopping doing what you're doing. Because even in that example I gave you in 2017, corporate route, strong, you know, and focused on that. But I knew that I needed to pepper in. I needed to find a way to pepper in purpose-driven work in that too. And that is my recommendation. To, if you're busy putting food on the table, providing for your family in the space that you may not love and it may not be your passion work, don't stop that. But it is for the sake of your sanity and your spirit, you have to pepper in, find a way to spend time doing things. That stuff can take us out. And especially if you are working hard and you don't like the job, or you don't, but you don't have a longing or a yearning to do something else. So if that's not the case, then you may be okay. I'm really speaking directly to the folks who know for a fact that there is more for them to do, and it's not being able to reveal itself in your current flow up on a day-to-day basis. Your work, your passion-driven work, your God-given work isn't being revealed on a daily basis. And if that is the case, it's time to do it for yourself. And even if that means, you know, and here's the great thing about purpose-driven work, is that you will do it for free. You don't even have to get paid doing it. Somebody pays you, that's a bigger blessing, right? That's, you know, there's somebody I had to listen. I mean, I'll tell you, and this is some of you guys know this story. But when I made the change and took a job, I took a job that I knew I could do. Right? I said, okay, yeah, sign me up. I'm there. You know, but the reason why I took that job was because I saw the potential of what wasn't there that I could easily create, because my passions, it was already created in my mind. My mind, it was already happening. All I need to do was just get in the environment to build it. And that was the thing. I needed to be in the environment to build. And they gave me that opportunity. So then it was just like, all right, so you can start building stuff and plugging and challenging people to do it this way, and maybe do it a little, and take what you built to market and see if they'll buy it. What about this? Are you getting this from anywhere else? And it didn't take long. I mean, I look back at some of these numbers now, and that first 2 years, it's like, this thing works. And imagine the gratification, you know, that knowingness of like, it was in my head the whole time. It was in the faith lane the whole time. But the whole time it was in faith, I was building it in my brain and in my spirit. But to be able to take it out of brain and put it to market was one of the most, I mean, to this day, it's still even, and it's even this week, I had even added a little bit more to it. It's that passion, purpose-driven work that I think, and if you, like I said, if you can get paid for it, boom, thank God that you really hit the home run if you can get paid for it. But it's important to know that purpose-driven work is purpose-driven work. And however it comes and however you got to do it, you just got to do it. And you have to do it because, in my personal belief system, I believe that's why we're all here. I believe that we are here to do the assignment that we were brought here to do. Everybody has their own unique assignment, and you have to do that. I know our society, particularly in this country, it equates work with compensation. And we can look at that word compensation in a lot of ways. But I'm trying to be as clear as I can right now, is to say that if you know that there is purpose work for you to be doing, and you're not spending time, and you hadn't figured out how to spend time doing it, how to fit into your already busy life, it is worth prioritizing purpose work and include that into your grind. And I say, and let's just even, I tell some of my newer clients, right? Let's just test it out, right? Let's just test it out. Let's just say, let's try something, for a week. Let's just, if it's and you say, well, why? I don't even know where to start. Okay, well, fine. You can always volunteer. Something that matters to you in any kind of way. Just show up at an organization that's doing it. Or if somebody's running a company that you love what they're doing, give them a call and you say, hey, I love what you're doing. I think what you're doing is great. I've heard about what you're doing. I've seen it, whatever the case may be. You have time for coffee, just for a conversation, and find a way to infuse yourself into what's going on, just so you can be in the room and then assess how you feel in that situation. Assess how you feel being in what your mind has been thinking about. Your mind and your spirit is trying to pull you and push you in a direction anyway. It's worth just testing it out. You didn't say, I gotta shut down. I've seen other folks like, God told me to do this. I shut all that down and I'm over here now. I was like, okay, well, God bless you. I hope you're serious. And I hope your faith is just as real as your actions. So, because some folks, that's just how they move. They can't pepper, if you will. It can't do that. They just kind of an all or nothing. So all right, if you that raw, then that is also an option, right? You can do that. But at the end of the day, we don't want to put you in a situation where there's time for an excuse. So I can't do it because, and I'm one of those who will say you can't afford not to do it, especially if it's keeping you up at night. You know, you got that uneasy feeling.
Hey, Brother Dees.
Yes, sir.
Hey, brother, sorry to interrupt. Dwayne Mitchell here. You mind if I just jump in real quick?
Please do.
Sorry, I'm a little winded.
Go for it.
Just so you know, I'm bringing a different energy today.
Let's go. Let's go.
I'm at the gym.
Okay.
All right. I've been listening to the calls the whole time. And I immediately jumped into this path and everything, so I came in a little late. Sorry, I'm a little winded because I've been working out. So listen, it's Dr. Tuesday on the phone.
She is.
On the phone.
Yes, she is.
Dana. Let me say something to everybody. Hey, young lady. Everybody knows where I live. I live in Philly, right?
Yeah.
Everybody knows this. Everybody knows I'm working out. I get up 4:30 in the morning, I hit the gym. I'm done by 7. I start my day. I made a special trip one day. I took off in the morning. I drove from Philly, got up at 4:30, got on road 5:30. I met Dr. Tuesday at her old office. She took care of me. She took care of me. She took care of me. That's all I'm gonna say. She took care of me. She had to do small little things because we was talking about working out and weight. She had some that needed to be moved. Lucky for me, I've been lifting. I was able to take care of that for her. So anyone on the call, anyone has family, anybody, please do me a favor. Reach out, talk to people, and support our friends, support our family, support our network. Go get your chops. I'm sorry, Dan. Go get your teeth. Go get them cleaned. Go get them looked at. See Dr. Truesdale. And thing is this. So I'm a little old school, so I paid her with cash, right? I want her to know that this comes from one family member to another. Okay, I want you to have it today because I could have credit card. She can process it. She can pay that 3% on top of the credit card, but she has to wait to get that money. It's just something that I'm trying to practice nowadays. And I'm sure everyone heard about the rioting or the looting that happened in Philadelphia, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say one of them was like maybe a mile and a half from where I live. Other one's probably like 3 miles away from where I live. I'm not gonna go into it, but it hurt me, it crushed me because we have our young brothers and sisters. We got our parents and guardians, whoever that, in my opinion, are not taking responsibility for their own family, friends, village, and kids. Because one of the places that got looted, it was a black-owned business. It was a small lady from the neighborhood, and she actually got robbed by her own people. It had nothing to do with the incident that happened and filled up with the police. I understand, because we actually filled up. I'm really amped because I've been in gym working out. So the purpose, with Paz and Fireman was talking about the purpose. Find your purpose and do what you do. My purpose was to support a friend, a family, the village by driving 2 hours, getting up early, going in there so she can take a look at my season. And I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now I'm going to go back to read one. We all need a coach. We all need some sort of You're like squatting. What the hell squatting class? So I can learn how to squat properly while not injuring myself, hurting myself. I met a coach there. He corrected 3 things. Small little tweaks about my position, about my foot, my back, this and that. Now, guess what? There's no pain in my knees, no pain in my lower back. I'm on the road to success. Let me repeat that. He made small little tweaks. And now I'm on the road to success about what I want to do with my personal health, my fitness. Then I talked to him. We spoke about 45 minutes yesterday, actually. And we have a lot of common interests, a lot of common things. He's a small business, so this is his own business of being a coach. So that's what I'm doing. And he was working with his, and his wife, she also is a fitness person. So it's just those 2 small businesses. Guess what? They provide a service that I can use. It's beneficial to me. Now, how about that family member, that village? So I say all this because December 2nd is coming. I'm launching Soul Power, Muscle Joint Relief Valve, CBD. I am going to be Soul, Strains of Life. The website's going to be gotsoul.com. If you do gotsoul, GOT.com, that's going to take you to the old website, which is health. It was going towards like a beauty supply, because everyone knows I'm in the luxury hotel business. I tried to get it in there. Some people picked it up. It worked. It's good, but it just didn't have that kick. So I rebranded. We went back to the lab. We did the formula. And Dr. Truzel, I got a bottle for you. Next time I'm down, I'm going to give you a bottle so you can try it. Because we spoke about that. We spoke about the pain that comes from your jaw, your teeth, that goes down to your neck and shoulders. So, right? So this all goes back to purpose and why. The purpose, because I started working out, because I was sitting home, Monday through Friday, sitting at my desk, my belt buckle was facing down. I was walking 10 miles a day. My belt buckle was still facing down. It came up a little bit. So I was doing the gym. I'm 52 years old. Now I'm one of the old cats in the gym. I'm not the strongest guy, but I'm not the weakest guy. Now, I know how some people feel about fitness. I played sports my entire life, from 6th grade up to sophomore year in college. I was running back. I worked out, but I didn't have that killer instinct. But I did it for my position. Now, that was my purpose. My purpose now is to be healthy, to have longevity. So the blood is still flowing through my body. I don't want diabetes. I don't want, heart disease. I don't want any of those things that affect us men, especially as Black men being over 50 years old. I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to get a prostate cancer. I'm going to get a colon cancer check. I'm taking all that stuff out that affects us. Right? So purpose, again, is for me now that I'm seeing what's going on in this country, especially our community, I'm doing whatever I can to help out our family, our friends, our village. Big boxes, everybody does Amazon on it. No. I want to feed our family first. I want to feed our village first. If I can go somewhere and find out someone that has a product that I want, I'll travel to support them. What's up, Andrew? Hey, nobody. And so that's what I'm doing, and that's one of my purpose here going out. Sorry, looks like that. Yeah. I hear the music in the background. I'm going to go out here. So, sorry, I was trying to make this short and sweet, because when you guys were talking, I was on the treadmill, I'm on 40, now I'm about to throw some iron around. That's it. Any questions, any feedback, let me know. Let these know you get to me. December 2nd, got so. Come with me. He's going to have 3 locations. I can take you to the gym. We can get our workout on. We can get our fitness on, And as Deep always said back in the day, one word enough. I'm amped now, so that's what I got. Oh, and on a personal note, I just want to give a shout out to my daughter. Sorry, last week ago, she was a sophomore playing varsity volleyball here in PA. They went 3-0, and she was the one standout. It was her and another medal that killed the game. So, of course, they posted her on Instagram and Facebook how they said, what if these 2 medals, we would never win the game. And then last night, she had some, right? So that's, 3 out of 5. They were down, and they played, guess where? Lower Marion. Guess whose gym we played in?
Kobe Bryant.
So we was in Kobe Bryant's gym, right? I had pictures of him, everything else. You know the story. So we was in there, and of course I got goosebumps walking in there. I'm like, Kobe, I love you, but not today. Not today. But anyway, they were up 2-0. They just needed to win one more game. Guess what we did? We came back and we brought the broom out. We swept them 3-0. So we wound up winning the match 3-2. And those 3 games came down to like 2 or 3 points. So give a little shout out to my daughter. And that's because I'm the same stuff I'm spitting to you guys, I was spitting to her. You got to do that extra work outside of the gym. Outside of the game, outside of practice. Yeah. Outside of the court. And it will show up on the court. The reason I'm using that as an example is because what we do at our purpose, our driven, our work, that's fine. But we need to do the extra work, not from 9 to 5, but from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m.
There you go.
You got to find those extra 3-4 hours, those 5 hours not when you're at work, but when you're outside of work, so that you can be that all-star on the court. So if you want to have that purpose, you got to put it, and we're talking about grind, you got to get that grind in outside of your business hours, outside of your consulting hours, outside of your practice. Well, that's it. So I'm going to meet you guys so I can go back in. So if you guys have any questions for me, just give me a holler.
My man, Brother Mitchell.
I'm on fire.
I love it. You know, I don't know if y'all heard what he just said, right? He said everybody talks about a 9 to 5, but how about that 9 a.m.? I don't know if you meant to say that, but I was like, whoa, that's I was always thinking about 5 to 9 p.m. That young man said, let's go to the other side, 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. I'm using the word pepper again, but to throw in all those other things that are outside of your job. I mean, that is the big point. I mean, that actually opened up my brain even more, bro. That I'm glad you said. I don't know if you meant this. 5 p.m. to 9 a.m.
Yes, I did. 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 Because that's how I'm learning how to launch gotflow.com. Because once I'm done that, I go back to the lab and then I do what I can from 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. I get my sleep in. I'm learning social media. I put that on so I fall asleep. So what they're speaking, I'm still ingesting that information while I sleep. Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh yeah, it's on now, brother. That young, listen, that is exactly the process. I remember. I mean, and Dwayne and Paz, I know you guys remember when we started reading these books and listening to this information. I would go to sleep with it and just let it. I literally, Rhea can tell you after she says on. I would literally like have my headphones on in the bed and just let it continue as I'm sleeping. And it's amazing because, and I tell my daughter even now, I'm talking past your conscious mind right now because I know headphones on or listen to information while you're sleeping, it's going straight to the source. And that is, but see, those are examples. Now we're getting into the tactical aspects of the grind of how are you maximizing what you have. And what Dwayne just mentioned is the fact that when we're asleep, off because we're asleep, but there's still work that you can do while you sleep, which is put the right type of information into your brain while you are sleeping. Turn it on, let it take you to sleep, and then whatever the information is that you're working on. I was looking around, I was like, where's Brother Mitchell right now? I was like, oh, I got to make sure to get him in the game because this is and now we know he was already on the grind as we speak. So appreciate you, brother, 100%, man. It is, I mean, I'm like, well, it's time to go hit the gym. It's time to hit the gym, man. I love it. I love it. Anybody else? Let's open up the call. Anybody else want to dive in on their grind, on your grind? What's going on? We'll open up the call now. Oh, and I'm acting like I don't have anywhere to go. Just looked at the time. All right. We'll open up the call now. Anybody? All right. Yo, this is great. I want to make sure that we on the grind. It's I gotta be honest, on personally speaking, it's good for you guys about your grind and what does that look like for you? How do you personalize the work that you're doing every day? How are you pushing? It's just pure inspiration. And there's some big goals that I have, and I was going to God earlier this week, just laid out some of those goals and said, I need work to get there. I need more work. I need to do more to get to those goals. My current space, my current level of activity is not enough to get to those goals. So give me the strength, give me the clarity, give me that intentionality to do what's outside of my comfort zone. And so I'm talking these things to you guys and sharing right now with you, but it's really, these are my daily conversations with God to say, I know you have more work for me to do, so give me what I need to do it, right? And when you put that first step forward, when you go to the gym, when you listen to the information, when you have the conversation you need, when you work on your big idea, when you share that big idea with the person, whatever the case may be, there's value in the daily steps of the grind. There's value. And I just want to say that I think the big takeaway for this call, I want to make sure, is that we know that there are different levels of grinds. There's the grind to provide. There's the grind to fulfill your purpose. And then there's the grind of just trying to stay sane while you try to figure out how to provide and pursue purpose. Because there's some people who are just moving. I just want to stay active, but I'm not sure what my purpose is yet. And this grind that I'm on isn't making enough money for me to take care of my family. So some people are at that space. But I want to kind of, at least from my perspective, let me say that from my perspective, the purpose-driven grind is the grind that on a personal level pursues both. It's trying to, I always say, kill two birds with one stone. To pursue being a provider. All of us go to work because we want to provide, and that's the deal. We want to be able to provide either for ourselves or for our families or both, or whatever the case may be. And that's a blessing. But to just get a taste of a little bit of purpose in your life, to just be able to say, I taste it. I know what that tastes like. I know what it feels like. To say that you have had that experience is something, I'm one of those, as a believer, I feel like I can walk to the pearly gates and look at and say, I tasted it. I pursued what you told me to pursue. I felt it. I experienced it. And I'm thankful that you set me on that path. That's for me, that's the objective. And so and as a good old gospel approach, I want everybody to taste that. I want everybody to be able to say, I'm out here pursuing my purpose. I'm willing to drive 2 hours to Dr. Dana's to get work done and support her. I'm willing to go out and do the things that are necessary, the things that give you energy, that give you life, that really supports what matters to you. That's what we are here to do. And so that's why I say, if you can kill two birds with one stone and pursue purpose and provision at the same time, I think that's when you're really moving at the next level. And that's our last call was on the next level. And I just, these calls are really to just try to reiterate and infuse that type of energy into your mind and your space and your energies. Because we know you guys are focused and you're doing everything you can to make it happen and make your goals happen. But we just want to just build a cloud of prosperity into your energies as you're working toward building this thing out. And so I just want to say again, I'm overly just thankful for everybody who's on this call, for the energy that you put into this call today, for the ongoing seeing, watching, hearing, listening to your commitment to growth and development. I want us to stay intentional and keep your eyes open for opportunities to tap into your purpose. Keep your eyes open for somebody who may need what you know and understand. things that come second nature to you, there's somebody who is in desperate search for that information right now. And you can remember that was you at one point when you were searching for the information that you now know and understand easily. Keep your eyes and your energies open for those people, because that's an opportunity to tap into your purpose. That's an opportunity to let the flow of energy continue. You let it flow into somebody else's life. Let that energy be of value to them, and then they become a new person who can share and continue that flow of energy to someone else. We have to protect ourselves from the hurt, harm, and danger that is surrounding us, that's being bombarding us at an unbelievable rate. And one way to do that is to keep the flow of energy going into somebody else's spirit. If you could have listened to all types of craziness of what's happened around you and your surrounding, and then in one instance of being able to reach somebody who need to be reached, to communicate and share and be of value to somebody who truly, they may not, some people don't verbalize that what you did was a blessing for them. Some people don't verbalize that. And you kind of just have to know that when you're sharing and when you're adding value and you're intentional about speaking into somebody else's life, that's the job. That's the gratification, because you did it and you didn't just, look at that person and say, oh, well, maybe next time. What you know and understand right now, today, the things that come second nature to you are is complete golden information for somebody else. Know that, treat that with great respect, and be on the grind to do those things, to be that kind of a, spreader of the energy, if you will. Appreciate you guys. Anybody else have any questions, comments before we finish up for the day?
No, dude, good call, man. Good call. Yeah, good call. Good call. Good call. Thank you for the.
Yeah, I'm good, dude. Yeah, I'm good. And funny about the focus, the driven, the purpose, all that, everything came together. I want to appreciate the crew. I appreciate the rest of the crew. Back outside on the balcony flipping burgers on the crusty old charcoal grill on the deck to pike to the sundown with my big fat ass out there doing it. So and I'm gonna say one last thing. If you guys have any goals, desires, or dreams, or whatever, let's not wait till 2024. I'm gonna do it at the beginning of the year. The beginning of the year, the purpose starts today. It started last week. Started last month. Because in gyms I see it all the time. It's going on, oh yeah, the brand new year, this, that. Nah, go into that year running. Go into that year running. Go into that year in shape. Go into that year mentally prepared. Go into that year focused. Know what you got. So when it hits, hey, guess what, guys? Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I'm not starting new. I started this last year. I started this joint last year. And or as my Philly and brothers and sisters say, I started this joint last year, y'all. I started this joint last year. You know what I'm saying? That's right. I started this joint last year. All right?
I love it.
All right. Let's get it in.
Oh man, I gotta tell you, this feels like we're all outside on that deck flipping burgers. This is what was going on right here. Like the three of us.
Exactly. So there's biology behind this. So just remember that there's power in working out. Endorphins get your mind moving.
As you can see,
there is power. There is biological power. Like I said, I'm in the warehouse, buying extra amounts of chicken for the Ravens tailgate tomorrow.
On the grind. On the grind.
Yeah, on the grind. But I can hear the endorphin in Dwayne's speech, which is so powerful, so gratifying.
I love it.
I appreciate the call. I appreciate the call today. I can hear it. Like I'm like, oh, I need to go run. But we're going to get it right. We'll get it right. You know what I'm saying? It's great. The biology piece of this whole thing, which you kind of touched on, is key. You know, and I'm just, Dwayne is representing that aggressively today. And I love him for that. I love him for that. It's super important. Thank you. Thank you for the call. Great call.
Yeah, thank you, guys. Yeah. And like I said, it doesn't have to be physical. It can be emotional. It can be spiritually. It can be mentally. You know what I mean? So whatever you do, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, let's get it in. Come on. Got soul. GOTSOS.com. Coming to you December 2nd, baby. December 2nd. All right? Look out for it. December 2nd.
He got Christmas gifts for everybody, y'all. So there's no Christmas gifts.
That's right.
Anytime you end with the I, you know you in. You in the zone.
All right.
Yes, sir.
I'm going on mute, y'all. Have a good week.
All right, guys.
I'm out.
We're out. That was great.
Right, later.
Have a great week. We'll see you.
This session is no longer being recorded. Goodbye.